Hi, teacher.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tower of Babel podcast. Today is episode number 6. It's just myself and...
Lauren. Hi, I'm Lauren, the academic director. We're back again.
Yep. And I'm Rocky, the general director here at Tower of Babel, and we are co-hosts of this podcast. So hopefully you guys have liked the last couple of ones where we were talking with Asha and also with Piper, one of our interns and one of our teachers. But now we're back to the regular stuff, but we'll definitely have guests on
For sure.
more often as we go. So let's go ahead and get into what we're going to be doing today. So for today's cultural connection, the thing that I have written down here is weather and seasons.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about what the weather is like in the United States. Tell us about where you grew up, because I know you were born, obviously I know, but you were born in the South and you were raised in the North. So I'm curious to see what you think, and I'm going to crack this sucker open.
Yeah.
Ready?
Ooh.
That was nice.
Okay, so the U.S., like we've talked about a little bit before, is a big country, and so there are different biomes there. I was born in Alabama in the South. Lots of my students, it reminds them of Forrest Gump, because that's where Forrest Gump is from. And that's exactly right. That's how everyone sounds. And the weather is the thing we're talking about today, and the seasons. So there, it's very hot and humid, right? So my parents live in Nashville, Tennessee right now. When we went to visit them, how humid was that?
It was so incredibly humid.
Yeah.
You're obviously always prepared, when you're going into humidity. If you're going to Santa Cruz here, you're okay, it's going to be hot, it's going to be humid. But then, as much as you, try to mentally prepare for it, you can't physically prepare for it. So when we went down to go visit your parents in Nashville, it was oh my gosh, it's so humid.
Yeah, and I know neither of us, really prefer that. And so for us, it was drinking water every time you took a breath, right? We also went in the middle of summer, which didn't help our case. But, so yeah, and so I kind of grew up in that. It's where I grew up for the first 8 years of my life wasn't as hot as where we went to visit my parents. But Birmingham, where I am from originally, where I was born, it's really hot, and we have that in summer. Then we have fall, where the leaves fall down, right? It's autumn. Everything gets a little bit more chilly and maybe some wind and rain. But winter down there is really nothing. You might get an inch, a couple centimeters of snow, but it melts pretty much by afternoon when that happens, right? And so nothing crazy. And then where we met, right, in Montana, where your family's from, where I spent most of my life, it's different. Yes, it's super different. So Montana's not humid at all. It's really, really dry. And so there were a bunch of wildfires and things because it was dry. And we'd get a lot of smoke in the summers. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember the smoke in the summers. And I feel every time they were this is the worst forest fires. I've only spent 3.5, maybe 4.
I think 4.
I think it might be 3. Anyway, but I've only ever spent 4 summers there, total. I think it's less than, because some of those times I was back in the U.S., it wasn't during summers. Yeah. So I'm gonna say it's either 3 or 4 summers, and every time, all of the smoke that was gonna come in, everyone always said it was from Canada. This smoke is from Canada. It's not from Montana. And so I don't really know where the smoke was coming from, but it was the summers at the very, very beginning of summer. It was super smoky.
Yeah, it was always the beginning of summer. We would get a lot of smoke from Canada and from California, reportedly. And there were on the way.
Isn't that so far away?
Yeah, but so is Canada from Billings. That's a good 10-hour drive.
Yeah,
but we would also have fires in the more mountainous parts of Montana, Kalispell, things like that, kind of over on the western side of the state.
That's true.
And so Montana is also a really big state. But yeah, so there would be a bunch of smoke coming in. Our soccer practices used to sometimes get canceled, or we would have to do them inside because there would be so much smoke from the fires. But getting back on topic, so early summer, it would be super dry, and we'd have all these wildfires. And summers were pretty dry. The last couple summers that I lived there, I don't know if you remember, they got really rainy. There was a lot of rain those last couple summers.
When you say a lot of rain, what does that mean?
It's nothing like rainy season here. But I'm saying we had maybe a couple big thunderstorms that happened for one afternoon and then never again. But that was really rainy for there.
So in general, it sounds like In the south, we got, okay, it's, a little bit warmer, it's humid, it's hot. I compared it kind of to Santa Cruz, but then, and that's kind of just like general year round. Like, it's colder in the winter, but not crazy cold. But then Montana's a different world, where in the summer, it's hot. Is it humid?
It's dry, super dry.
Super dry, like you said, and, I mean, lots of, like, fire, so it's just hot and dry.
Yeah, really, like, arid.
But then with that coming in now to the different seasons, because would you say that Montana has like specific seasons?
Yes and no. Because it definitely has seasons if we compare it to like Arizona, where it's just like hot and like warm all the time, or to like Florida or things like that. But so context, Montana, we talked about the summer, right? Then we get into the fall and the leaves start to fall, right? And it rains a little bit, it's windy, and it gets a little bit chillier. That normally doesn't last very long, though. We normally get fall for like maybe a month because it gets cut off by snow. It just snowed in Montana like 3 days ago. Your mom texted us.
What day is it?
It's October 15th today.
It's October and it's snowing.
Yeah, there have been times when I was like trick-or-treating for Halloween as a kid, and there was snow on the ground. And so fall normally got cut pretty short by snow, which then leads us into like kind of this gross slushy time, which wasn't my favorite. Either snow cuts it short, and so it's like gross and slushy, where it's like everything's kind of slushy, as in like, I guess, yeah, that makes sense to explain that. Snow is on the ground and the roads, right? And there are still leaves on the trees, so there are leaves that are just like wet and brown, but it's not like frigid winter like North Pole yet. And so everything is kind of melting, and the roads, this was always the part that I didn't like about winter, was the roads would get all slushy with like this almost shaved ice texture of like, I forget what they call shaved ice here. It's not a direct translation. I forgot. But on the road, because of like I don't actually know what it is. Maybe just dirt on the roads, or like liquid from cars or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably a mixture of dirt, and then the fact that you have water that at night is freezing and it's snow, but then during the day is getting so warm that it's melting. So then you have like chunks of ice that are really soft mixed with like the wetness that's just like all that water is just picking up all the dirt. And tires aren't clean. Like if you've ever changed a tire and you like rub your hand against it, you take it off, they're dirty when you do that.
They're dirty.
But yes. And so all of that turns into that disgusting slush that you see on the roads. Yeah,
and so personally, I like when it's winter, and I like when it's fall. But that in between is not my fave. It's just gross. And you can't go anywhere without getting your feet wet. And so you either have that, where winter cuts off fall early, or you have fall and all the leaves fall, and then it doesn't snow for a while, and you just get like, I've heard it called stick season. I think other states call it stick season.
Stick season? Like stick just because all the trees look like sticks?
Yeah, all the trees are just sticks.
Yeah.
And so it's just like really brown, and it's not fall anymore, so it's not pretty. You don't get the changing colors, but you also don't get like snow and like Christmas and joy and stuff like that. And so it depends year to year if that happens. But once winter hits, it hits in Montana. A thing I've heard said a lot is Montana sits right at the 45 latitude. Yeah, because longitude, like the latitude. So right between the equator and I don't know latitude and longitude. Someone told me once that 45 latitude is like right in the
We're gonna have to fact check you so hard on that. In the edit of this, there's gonna be like a disclaimer above your head. I'm gonna put it's like Lauren doesn't know what she's talking about.
It's just gonna be like she's completely wrong. She's completely wrong.
No, but I get what you're saying. Yeah. Is at the North Pole and the South Pole, that's exactly 0 and 0. Is how it goes. It's 0 and 0.
I thought the equator was 0.
It is also 0.
The point is, I don't understand how latitude and longitude work. The point is, Montana is situated really well between like the freezing cold of like Canada and then like the hot of the South. So we get really extreme winters and really extreme summers. So in the winters, you've been there for a couple winters, it gets freezing, like dangerous to stay outside. Freezing. There were some nights that last winter that we lived in Montana where like if you stayed outside at night, overnight, you probably would have died.
Not even just probably. There is deaths every year in Montana. homeless people who get drunk and then accidentally fall asleep outside and then they just freeze to death.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is in Celsius. We'll have to like put it on the screen or something. But it got to like negative 25 Fahrenheit at one point this last winter, and that's like
negative like 19 Celsius because it's different when you get into the negatives.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'll put it on the screen.
But yeah, freezing, just insanely cold. And so then there's ice and snow and everything. And I actually like when it's like not actively snowing, when the sky is still blue and there's snow on the ground. I love that. And snow for Christmas is great. But yeah, super, super cold. And then we get to spring, which in Montana doesn't last very long. In a lot of other states, they have like pretty flowers and like, I don't know, like a good slow like entry.
I think spring is very long in Montana. I don't know what you're saying there. I think that it's very long. Like March, even though it's still cold and it still occasionally snows, I think is the start of spring. Everyone considers it the start of spring because things start to get green again. Very, very green, lush green. And the way I know that it's like spring, in my opinion, in the U.S., is if like you can put your hand right above grass, and you can feel it like radiating heat.
Are you just outside
No, but tell me that you've never like went to like sit down in grass in the springtime.
Oh
and it's
yeah,
like that
no, I get what you mean.
Feeling.
I thought you meant like you're sitting there like connecting with the earth, hardcore, like feeling for it.
No. But like in the summer, if you're to put your hand near grass, it's just hot.
I know
it's not wet.
Yeah.
But in spring, you can put your hand near grass, and your hand isn't wet, but it gives the sensation of wet.
Oh, like it's just a little bit cool. I get what you mean. I know a lot of people in Montana say spring doesn't last very long, and that's normally because we get spring, snow interrupts it. Spring, sometimes snow interrupts it, here and there. Yeah. And so people normally count it as like the last snow, then it's spring, which makes spring like 2 weeks long.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
But I think you've got a good point, because spring is like a little bit crisp and cool, but getting warmer. And then we jump into hot summertime again. Yeah. Yeah.
You seem very passionate about the seasons.
I grew up there. I know them very well.
Yeah, you were like, this is everything.
This is every season you could possibly experience.
Let's talk generalities.
Yeah.
In general, in the South, hot, humid, there's still the seasons of, you have a summer that's stupid hot, incredibly hot. You then get into fall where like kind of the leaves fall off of the trees, and then you get winter, which is going to be colder, and then you get spring where you're going to get some rainfall.
Yeah.
Boom. And then in the north, in Montana, is the spring doesn't last very long. You don't get that much rain, but you get enough water coming from all of the snow that you had, and the rivers are higher because the snow is melting off of the mountains. And so that's your spring. Your summer is really hot, just like in the South, just not humid.
Yes, it's super dry.
The same hot, but it's just not humid, which is weird. And then you get into fall where everything falls down, everything dies. It's like brown.
But before everything dies, it's all like orange, yellows, reds, beautiful.
Yes, but it dies.
Yeah.
And then it's brown. Because like that fall, I agree with you there.
It's beautiful.
Fall doesn't last like more than a week.
No, like you have like maybe 2 good weeks to like go up on the rims of like the mountains and like look over it.
It was a week, and then the snow hit and it just knocked everything.
That's the worst. Yeah.
Anyway, so fall is super short most of the time, but it's pretty for a little bit, and then it's just brown and everything's dead. And then you have a very long winter. Yeah. Where it's like 5 months long.
Yeah, good 5. Because your winter's gonna run from like. It depends on when you consider it starting. Well, October, yeah.
October, November, December, January, February, March, easy.
Yeah.
Because 5-6 months. It usually snows into April as well.
Yeah.
So that's 6 months.
But like you said, we don't get a ton of rain, but the snow is like the main water thing. You hear people all winter long. They're like, oh, the snow sucks, like it's the worst. But we need it. We need it to avoid forest fires in the summer. Yeah. Because the snow will melt and run off and moisturize everything.
That's why I always think it's so funny, like whenever we tell like our Bolivian friends here and like our workers and stuff like that, when we're talking and like snow comes up, people are like, oh, it's so pretty. Which I agree. Snow is very, very pretty.
Yeah.
But it is the most inconvenient thing ever.
Yeah. How many like vehicle accidents happen? How many vehicle accidents have you personally seen, like with your eyes in Billings, based on snow and ice?
A lot.
I've been in one. Based on
yours
snow
was
and ice.
bad. I would say it was an actual accident.
But that was based on ice.
With not another car, which is also based on
How do you have a
ice.
fender bender with not another car? You have to bend the fender.
Yeah, my fender.
Oh.
Do you know? It's from the
Alpha Omega?
They Who Shall Not Be Named. I don't think they're listening.
Definitely not.
It'd be really funny. Anyway.
Just be a coda.
Yeah, and so snow is super inconvenient. It's very pretty, but when you have 6 months of it, you can't do anything. Like, you're stuck in your house. You can go to, like, the grocery store, which we talked about what it was like. You can just get in the car, drive to the grocery store. But, like, that's
you can even have stuff delivered from the grocery store.
Yeah, but we didn't get into that.
No,
Maybe we'll do that when we get into transportation. Because
maybe.
like I would say like half of the transportation on the road is
deliveries of some kind.
Deliveries.
Dude, all the semi trucks. We'll get into that.
All of that's deliveries.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's all we have for cultural connection. I hope you guys liked Lauren's bit on that because you seem very passionate about it.
I guess so. I didn't realize.
I was like, but it's just good. It just means you really like the weather. And so now let's go ahead and get into Lauren's learning segment. What do you have for us today?
Today, I got my markers. Okay. So, what I wanted to do today, this one is a little bit different from our other one. So if you're just listening, if you're not watching, you'll have to listen very closely because we're talking about things we do with our hands to communicate things in English. So I'm not talking necessarily like sign language, although I feel like it is pretty common in the U.S. to know some basic signs, right? Everyone in the U.S. knows, like, thank you. That's pretty common.
No.
I think it's really common.
No, it isn't. You grew up in Montana around smart other kids who, yes, did know, and a little bit higher class.
Besides the point.
No one in Texas knew sign language.
That's Texas.
Texas is way bigger than Montana.
Not the point. That's not the point.
Resources, has more money.
Okay.
And yet still nobody knew sign language.
Different demographic, though.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not the point. Didn't know I would be getting roasted on today's episode.
We should do a roast.
Invite one of our teachers, but don't tell them that's what it is.
That's horrible. Mauricio, I guarantee, doesn't listen to these.
Vote for your teacher. Vote for your teacher if you want us to roast your teacher on here.
Yeah.
Unprepared.
We'll
just invite them on, but they won't know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Mauricio will think it's like music. He's like, I'm ready to talk about Mac Miller.
Yeah.
And we'll just be like, we'll get him. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Sorry.
Okay. So, like I said, we're talking about like how you communicate using your hands, not sign language necessarily, but in English, and I feel like in other languages, a lot of like signs and symbols are helpful. Like in a lot of Spanish-speaking countries, to point, people kind of do that thing with their lips, you know, where they're like, right?
Do Bolivians do that?
I'm not sure if they do it. I haven't really seen it here, but I know in some other Spanish-speaking countries, they kind of like point with the lips and the head, like.
But I think Bolivians kind of use their head a little bit more. They'll go like this, pa allá.
Pa allá, yeah.
And they'll point like with the edge of their forehead.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So, getting into, I don't know why I have the whiteboard, because I can't really draw what the hand symbols are.
Yeah, tell us what we're learning.
So what we're learning is just some things we use, and these are almost all paired with words.
Okay.
Little symbols and signs we make with our hands to communicate things. So the first one I want to do is like this. And we normally say like this. Now, if I said, let's say, me and my best friend are like this. What does that mean to you? What would you guess?
If you were to just do this,
we're like this.
I would not know. I would not know.
But it comes with the context.
But then you just said me and my best friend.
Or my best friend and I. Sorry.
My best friend and I are like this.
My best friend and I are like this.
That to me means like, oh, we are wrapped around each other. If I was just from this side.
Right, like a literal thing.
Yep.
And this, you're pretty close, right? This is just to indicate that, for those of you who are just listening, I just crossed one finger over the other, right? It just indicates that two people are close, right? They tell each other a lot of things, right? They are good friends, right? That's why I use the example of best friends. And so we could say like, oh, Jen and James are like this. Right?
Really, like this? I actually think that more often than not, people will say, oh, they're tight. This to me means tight.
sometimes we do use tight to describe that, like they're tight. But a lot of the time you will see people just be like, yeah, man, we were like this.
Like this,
we were
yes.
Like this.
Tight.
But these are all indicating that someone is just, the two people are close.
Very close.
Yes, very close. Another one, speaking of close, let's say, this one's pretty self-explanatory. Mm-hmm. I could say, I'm this close to falling asleep. This close. And for those of you just listening, I'm just taking my thumb and my index finger and putting them super close together.
I think that one's pretty universal. You know, you're talking this close. Mm-hmm. The thing that I'm starting to think about this is like, okay, in what context, in what situations in the U.S. are you actually even using these hand gestures like this and, you know, this close? I feel like the majority of mine that I can remember is usually like, I'm usually like in trouble or something like this.
Okay.
Because I feel like when Americans get angry, then they start to talk with their hands more.
Is that true?
Well, think about it.
I've never noticed it very much. I feel like I personally talk with my hands a lot, but I don't know if that's an American thing.
It is an American thing. Americans talk with their hands a whole lot more. But I think that in general, like when you see people start to use their hands more often, it's because they're frustrated or they're angry or something like that, and they're trying to convey to you in another way besides vocally that there's something. So like when you went like this, immediately what came to my mind is like my mom, because like, oh, I did something and she's telling me to stop, mm-hmm. and then I won't stop, and so then like I keep on like doing it, and she's like, I'm this close to sending you to your room, mm-hmm. or I'm this close to spanking you. Like, yeah. It's like, hey, like I'm this close.
That's a good point, because the example that comes to my mind is people being frustrated about something.
Yeah.
Is being like, I feel like you always see people be like, I'm this close to telling him how I really feel, mm-hmm. right? I'm this close to quitting my job, mm-hmm. right? They're like on the edge of something, right?
It's same thing with this though. If you were in a happy mood and you were like, hey, talking about like two of your other friends, and you're just mm-hmm. like, oh, you know, they're very close to each other, you wouldn't do this to them.
No,
but if you were frustrated about it and you're like, oh, they're close to each other, like they're this close.
I didn't think about that. I'll have to pay attention now to how much I use my hands when I'm frustrated or just normally.
It's a lot.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, what's the next one?
Our next one is another one with this same first one of fingers crossed. And so this is the context I'll give you, right? I really hope you get the job.
Does that happen a lot? Mm-hmm. I think I've only ever seen it in movies.
I think more common, actually, is for people to say fingers crossed,
yeah,
but not actually cross their fingers. So in movies and things, you'll see people like, hope so, right? Like fingers crossed.
Yeah.
And for some reason with this, the instinct for me is to do both of them, of like, man, I really hope so, right? Something you want to happen. But I think more common now, maybe. I feel like when I was a kid, this was big. Of like, I really, really hope, like, I don't know, I really hope there's no school tomorrow, right? I feel like that was more common as a kid, maybe just because I saw it in movies, so I was copying them.
I think I've only ever seen it in movies. I think that if in
Have you
real
never
life,
done that before?
In real life, if somebody was like, "Hey, fingers crossed," I would laugh out loud at them.
Oh.
Yeah.
I really hope. I think crossing one is like normal.
I disagree.
But I think a lot more common is for people to actually just say, like, I have a job interview tonight, like fingers crossed. To just say fingers crossed, which indicating means, like, that I want good luck is what that's supposed to be, right?
Like good luck to you. Hope it goes well.
Yeah.
Buena suerte. Is literally
a lot of people do it for themselves too. I feel like it's less common to do it for another person. Of like, people will say like, "Oh, I have a big date tonight. Like fingers crossed. Hope it goes well."
Oh.
Right. You don't really say it to another person. Of like if you said, "Oh, I have a job interview," I would say fingers crossed. Like not really.
I think that happens, for sure.
Maybe. You can say it by itself too, and then you can also say like fingers crossed and then what you want to happen, right? Like fingers crossed your date goes well. Fingers crossed you get the job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Just kind of an expression to say good luck.
Yeah.
Or to either say good luck to you or good luck for me.
Yeah, or like I'm hoping for good things. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep.
Do we have more time for more of these or how?
Yeah, you got more time.
Okay. I have just a couple more. This one is pretty simple. I think we've seen this in Spanish too, and in movies and things. And this is also just kind of one we see a lot more in movies. The one that comes to mind is The Truman Show. If I do this again, the same fingers crossed, but I'm lying, right? You see it in the Truman Show, right? When they get married and she has her fingers crossed.
But it's usually you're hiding it from somebody. Yes,
because if I say something to you, I'm like, I don't know. Yes, I did the dishes. Like, obviously, that's telling you I'm lying, right? It's, I think, I don't actually know where it comes from, but I think it's a thing to kind of feel better about it. You're like, oh, I had my fingers crossed, so it doesn't count. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'd be interested to see like what the actual reason behind it is.
Yeah, the origins of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I think we have time for one more if we do it quick.
Okay, let's do another one. This last one, I don't actually know if we use this in Spanish, so you'll have to tell me.
Let's hear it.
If I go like this, well, give me yours, because they have to be opposite, right? What does that mean to you?
It's a pinky promise.
A pinky promise.
Is what it is in the U.S.
This is your pinky.
And
right?
so you're making a promise. Estás
prometiendo.
There it is. Prometiendo. Estás haciendo una promesa. You're making a promise. But you are... I actually know where this comes from.
Really?
Yes.
Tell.
So, back when the Pilgrims had moved on and started to create their own communities throughout the United States, there was a large amount of communities that the punishment for lying, because there wasn't like police or government or anything like that, and so the punishment for lying was that they would chop off your pinky. So they would say, like, hey, are you telling me the truth? Pinky promise?
You're swearing on your pinky.
Yes. Because if I find out that you're lying to me, I'm going to get your pinky chopped off.
That's so gruesome.
Is what it comes from.
I had no idea.
Yep.
That's crazy. I appreciate that. Did you have that prepared or anything?
No.
You just knew that?
Yep.
Wild. But yeah, so it's really common among little kids, again, because I think little kids like fun, like... I don't know, handshakes and hand motions, things like that. You know, they do like the games and things like that.
Because as an adult, if you're doing these things, I'm laughing at you.
Yeah.
I'm laughing
I think Pinky Promise is cute.
It makes sense for in movies.
Yeah.
But in real life, if that happens, I'm laughing at you.
Okay. But yeah, so that's Pinky Promise or Pinky Swear. And a lot of the time you'll see in movies or with little kids, like, you can say, like, oh, I promise. Someone's like, pinky promise? Like, that's more serious, right? Obviously, because it used to mean you would get your pinky chopped off. That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that is all the time we have for today. There is no questions in the box for today's episode. But if you guys have questions, go ahead and put them in the box. We'll be sure to answer them. Or you can throw them in the comments as well. That's fine. But yeah. Thank you, Lauren, for teaching us a little bit about hand motions and what they mean in English, how they're corresponded. And then hopefully you guys might have learned a thing or two about what the weather patterns are like in Montana specifically. So yeah, once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys learned some new vocab and maybe some new phrases. And we will see you guys next time.
Immerse yourself.
Immerse yourself.